Hello and welcome. My name is Barb Reed and I'm the Wexford Stamper, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Pennsylvania. And today I'm going to be showing you a little Merci Chocolate treat box that I made. But before we do that, I want to show you some of the product that I'm using. This is the new 2020 mini catalog from Stampin' Up! And it just launched in early January, so all this stuff is brand new and just fabulous. And I wanted to show you the suite that we will be using today and that we'll be using product from. Okay, the name of the suite is Parisian Blossoms, and you can tell by these samples on this page how beautiful it is. And here, this page shows many of the products that come in the suite. And today we are going to be using some of the gorgeous paper from the suite. And we're going to be using the Forever Blossoms bundle, which is a stamp set and a set of framelits. We're going to be just using the framelits to cut out the little flower on the box. And then we're also going to be using the beautiful pink, petal pink metallic edged ribbon, which is one of my favorite products out of the catalog. And that we're going to use to tie the bow and finish off the project. So if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like to get your hands on one of these lovely catalogs, just message me and I'll be glad to get one sent to you. Remember also, it is celebration, and for every $50 worth of product you buy, you get a free item out of a celebration brochure. So I will be sending you that brochure as well. So just message me and I'll be glad to help. All right, well, let's get started. To make this project, and I'll bring it in here, you can see it right here on the side, you're going to start with a piece of petal pink cardstock cut at 7 3/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do our scoring. I'm going to bring in the Simply Scored board, and I'm going to go ahead and put the longer edge up against the top, and on the long side I'm going to score at 1 3/4, 2 1/8, 5 1/4, 5 5/8. Then I'm going to turn it to the short side and I'm going to score it at 1 1/8, 1 1/2, 3 3/4, 4 1/8. And that is all the scoring that we're going to be doing here. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to crease all my score lines. This will make for a nice, crisp corner on your box and help your box come together very nicely. Even though we're really not going to be using any adhesive to put this box together, it's still a good idea to get all these nice and creased. And you can see them much better when they're creased, so when it's time to do some cutting, you can see those lines a lot better. Okay, so okay, let's get started now. We're going to go ahead and do some cutting. Now I'm going to bring in a template to show you what your piece is going to look like after you're finished the cutting. So it's a very simple cutting. We're going to kind of be cutting out the 4 corners. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. I'm going to hold my paper portrait style, and then I'm going to come over 2 score lines, and I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to start cutting up that score line, go through the first horizontal score line, up to the second one, and then cut that corner off. See, that's what I'm going to do there. All right, now I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other 4 corners. So I'm going to come in 2 score lines. I'm going to cut along that score line up through the first horizontal score line and then cut it off at the second one. Okay, then I'm going to turn the paper around, do the same thing over here. Okay, and one more corner right here. go. All right, so now my template looks just like my cut piece. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna take our piece that we have here, and I'm gonna bring in some of the designer series paper, and this is beautiful. This one has the blossoms on, and all this paper has very lovely foil accents on it. So I'm gonna have one panel, which is 2 7/8 by 2 inches, and I'm gonna have 2 smaller panels of the same design cut at 2 by 1 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my Tombow glue, and I'm gonna adhere these pieces. Now this is gonna be on the bottom, so I'll show you on my finish box. Okay, the first piece is gonna be the bottom of your box. Okay, so you wanna turn this over so you're on the back side of it, and you're gonna put your first piece of designer series paper, your large piece, right in the center. Okay, you wanna leave a little bit of a margin around. Okay, now I'm gonna pick up my 2 pieces of smaller panels of designer series paper, and I'm going to go ahead and put those on the 2 panels here. One there and one there. Okay, and that is really all we need to do for this box. And what's very cool about the box is that we don't really do any adhering of the sides. It just kind of folds up together. But if you notice on this box, we have this really nice little closure up here, and that was super easy to make. Let me show you how we do that. I use this punch. It's called a tag topper punch, and this is one you want to get in your collection for sure. It's very, very useful. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in the sides, and then on the top here, I'm going to feed it in to my tag topper. I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to try to get it centered back there. I'm going to push the paper all the way up against the top and then try to have a little bit of the paper on both sides. Then I'm going to punch, pull it out, and there I have my nice little end there that's going to tie up into my box. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to put it in. Now don't worry about trying to get it in the track here because it's a little too large. So I just kind of go in from the top, and then I turn my tag over, and then I line it up there as best I can. There we go, and then okay, and there you go. You have your top and your bottom tag punched out. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and assemble the box. But before we do that, let's go ahead and make the little tag that goes on the box. And this is really, really simple. I cut out a pool party out of the nested label dies from the bird suite, a little label die, and then from the Parisian blossom set, I used my die and I cut out a little blossom. And then believe it or not, they have the tiny little stamen for the blossom too that you can cut out, and I cut that out using pool party cardstock. All right, so first, before we put our tag together, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the stamp that says friend from the stamp set, and I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that as far to the right as I can. There we go. And that is actually all the stamping we're doing. All right, then I'm going to take a tiny little bit of Tombow, and I'm going to just put a little tiny dot on my blossom. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere. That's a little too much. I'm going to take some of that off. Sometimes it's hard to get just a little out of there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my little stamen on there. So there's our flower ready to go. And then I'm going to take my flower, and using dimensionals, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere it to the left side of my label. And this is going to be the little tiny tag that goes on your box. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to it on like that. Okay, so you can still see the friend, and that is on the side. So that is our tag. Now before we bring in our box, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my punch, and I'm actually going to punch a hole in the petal that's farthest to the left. Okay, just like that, because that's what we're going to put our ribbon through as we tie it onto our box. All right, well, let's go ahead and bring our box back, and we're going to bring in our 3 Merci Chocolates. And this is, I thought, was so perfect for making for our French themed night when we were having our stamping. Using the Parisian Blossom, the Merci Chocolates would be perfect. And see, that's how it goes together. Okay, there's no gluing of the box. We just bring up these 2 insides and then bring these 2 across. Now we're going to bring in our gorgeous ribbon. This is the petal pink ribbon with a metallic edge, just beautiful. And we're going to bring that ribbon up from underneath on both sides. Okay, so underneath, underneath. Okay, then we're going to fold down our sides and then bring in the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do an over and under like I'm getting ready to tie a shoe. And that's going to kind of hold it closed for you. Okay, then I'm going to bring in my tag, and I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to go ahead and put it right in through the hole that I put in the little petal. And then I'm going to slide it all the way down so that it's right on top of the box. Okay, now the big finish is our bow, which I hope I can do a good bow, because it's such an easy box and the bow just is such a nice little touch at the end. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to bring those ends in a little bit. Do a little bit of floofing. And now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off these long tails here. I like to keep them a little longer. Okay, so there it is. There's the box. Very simple to make. Here's my other one. So if you have any questions about how to make this project, please message me. I'll be glad to help. If you need any of the product, you can go to my online store, and I will put the link to my online store and my blog in the description of this video. Thanks again, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.